Some women walk into the rusty anchor and sing from the soul. Others panic when the spotlight shifts. This episode is for the ones who don't need props or a gimmick to be powerful. Welcome back to Lily of the Valley Coaching, where we don't chase attention, we document impact. Today, we're talking about the collapse of shock-driven womanhood, rage branding, and the spiritual bankruptcy behind trauma monetization. And yes, we're naming names, dropping statistics, as we always do, and calling out the system that rewards rage until it stops selling. So let's get right into it. The collapse of shock culture. We'll start with good old Jennifer Lopez. This year, she was dropped by her record label after poor performance and public fatigue. We're tired of her. Listen, and I've seen hardcore J-Lo fans get tired of her too. Now, we all know that her 2024 tour was canceled due to low ticket sales, and she hasn't been to make any kind of a dent in that this year. Her Las Vegas residency is struggling as well. Tickets range from $121 to $1,300, and seats are still wide open. At this point, old girl can't even give those tickets away. As one commenter on Reddit had so eloquently put it, that series of screenshots of the arenas with barely any tickets sold is absolutely diabolical, quote unquote. Even global icons get discarded when the aesthetic stops serving the brand. And it's not just J-Lo. Rage isn't a brand. It's a burnout cycle. Let's talk about EMM or M. She's known for her trauma-themed lyrics and shock visuals. Been there, done that. That's kind of the thread that's in this entire episode. We've seen this before. You're not doing anything groundbreaking or new. Madonna did it before you did. She escalates her content. More skin, more rage, more chaos, trying to keep the fire alive by calling herself a see you next Tuesday. Simultaneously, bashing men, but you're having your whole body out on display, and then getting mad when both women and men are commenting on it. It's not just the men that are commenting on it, it's women too. But then we're not allowed to have an opinion. Fellow women are not allowed to have an opinion unless it's the same one. That's controlling the narrative. Now, another example of the more skin. We'll revert back to J-Lo. There have been shots where she has been shown sliding on stage and you see nothing but her cooter. And we're seeing more and more of her cooter. Her 50-plus-year-old cooter. Like, we don't need to see this man. Now, what is the commonality on this? No emotional depth or spiritual oxygen. So eventually, the flame will burn out because rage isn't sustainable. It's just not. Now, this is the framework that a lot of these copy-paste M types like to go by as a playbook. Rage attracts attention. You just heard that? That's confirmation. right there. Rage attracts attention. Rage bait. Trauma gets monetized. But when the audience wakes up, the algorithm drops you. And the powers that be discard you like a snot-filled Kleenex. But let's dive even deeper, okay? Because we're going to peel all of the layers of this onion back. What is the science behind this burnout? Fire needs 4 things: fuel, heat, oxygen, and a chemical chain reaction. Remove the oxygen, the breath, the truth, the humility, and the fire dies. Because a fire to keep going needs breath, needs oxygen. And it's the same thing with branding. Rage without healing equals burnout. People like EMMM are not interested in healing. They're not interested in this healing. Shock without substance equals collapse. Trauma without transformation equals exploitation. And the brain, it adapts. So your brains are changing in your head as you consume that content. Neural desensitization kicks in. It's the same thing as if you're watching porn and you're watching kind of like a taboo type of porn, and your neural desensitization kicks in and you find yourself going into a deeper, more obscure part of the porn site, right? The same thing could be applied here. So in order for M to stay relevant, for J-Lo to stay relevant, they're going to have to do more depraved things, which goes back, because this is all a spell, guys. This is all a spell that they're casting on you. When you are not giving them the monetary dividends or the algorithmic dividends that they seek, they become more and more and more shocking, offending more groups of people in order to achieve that end. So let's deep dive into this neural desensitization. Audiences will crave more depravity just to feel something. Eventually, they wind up feeling nothing, and they leave. Be careful who you have as fingers massaging your brain. Okay, so let's get into the echo chamber effect. We're seeing a rise in influencers who build their platforms on man-hating rhetoric. They attract echo chambers of similarly wounded women. It's just a bunch of wounded women just saying the same thing to each other. Nobody trying to heal the other. Nobody trying to lift up the other. No. The rage becomes a feedback loop. No healing, just validation of pain. Instead of seeking an actual therapist to make sense of what happened, make some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Plan to not be a slave to what happened to you through your trauma and make it your whole identity. Because then you're giving that person that did that to you continuous power and control over the narrative of your life. And when trauma stops trending, the collapse begins. So we're going to get into some case studies, guys, okay? Because I never come on here without some facts and figures to back what I'm saying up, okay? Okay. Mariah Carey, dropped by Virgin Records after Glitter flopped. We all remember that. Chloe Howell, dropped mid-album when Rage branding didn't sell. Little Boots, refused to repeat herself, quietly removed. iDress, she's based in the Philippines, dropped mid-development by XL Records. And even Rihanna, removed by Nivea for being too raunchy. The pattern here is clear, ladies. Focus on ladies and gentlemen. Shock sells until it doesn't. Rage attracts until it repels. Trauma monetizes until the audience stops. Trauma monetizes until the audience demands healing. So when people actually grow up and stop wanting to make excuses or playing the victim, then this type of content won't sell anymore and people move on. So I'm going to give you a old school example of what this is all about, what I'm trying to say here. We all remember Golden Girls, correct? Now, there were 4 ladies there, and their personalities that were curated were kind of like a glaring example of the types of archetypes that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. The very, very 4 different types of women, okay? Let's talk about Dorothy Zbornak, okay? Because most of us, we love our Dorothy Zbornak because she was a smartass. A lot of us are smart. I'm a smartass myself, okay? And we've had to deal with the Roses of the world and the Blanches of the world, okay? So, if you look at Dorothy Zbornak, she didn't need cleavage or chaos. In that famous episode when she was at the Rusty Anchor with Blanche, she sang. And she sang from the soul. She wasn't glittery or glamorous or cutesy or had a small little frame like Blanche did. But she shone. She glittered that day. And Blanche watched, panicked, realizing that presence outshines performance. If everything you do is performative, people are going to catch on eventually. And they're going to walk the other way. Which will leave the performative person having to show more skin, do some more deplorable acts for clicks and views. So who are you? Are you Blanche or are you Dorothy? Because we all know what happened to Dorothy in the end of the show. Spoiler alert, she gets everything. She gets the man, she gets the house, she gets the life, she gets the marriage, she gets everything. By being original, not performative. Are you the Dorothy? You're not chasing attention. You're commanding it. You're not performing pain. You're transforming it. Actually wanting to heal instead of using your trauma for clicks and views and a full bank account. Because then you're not interested in healing at all. You're just interested in filling that bank account. Making sure that Cash App dings on your phone every 30 seconds. So, you guys, I have a quiz for you, okay? Now, I want you to kind of take this part to do some internal reflection. Okay, so this is what the quiz is going to say. Are you monetizing pain or are you transforming it? Question number 1. What's the key element that keeps a fire burning? A, oil. B, water. C, oxygen. Or D, carbon dioxide. I'm not giving you the answers. You write these down, okay? Question number 2. What happens when audiences are exposed to repeated trauma-themed content? A, empathy amplification. Or B, neural desensitization. Question number 3. Which artist escalated trauma-themed branding to maintain visibility? A, Taylor Swift, or B, EMM, or M? 4. Question number 4. Why are rage-based brands unsustainable? A, they require high production budgets, or B, they lack emotional depth and spiritual oxygen. And finally, question number 5. What trend emerges amongst influencers who bash men for clout? This one is easy. I'm going to give you the answer to that one. A, echo chambers of similarly wounded followers. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a follow content creator that resonates with what I'm saying, you're not just dropping content. You're dropping refining fire. Let the rage queens panic. You're building legacy. And with that, my friends, my familia, I love y'all. Hugs, hugs, kiss, kiss. Until next time.